At GDS, when we talk about Agile, we often mean not waterfall. So the traditional way of doing software development back in the day would have been to gather all your requirements and then design a software product and then develop it and then test it. And only then would you know whether what you'd been building was any good or not, because it's at that point that you release it to the world. And in the normal way of looking at software, the old way of looking at software development, that is a crucial moment in the lifetime of a product, because that's the one moment when you start getting feedback about it. Agile tries to turn that on its head and say, instead of waiting till the very, very end of this process before we start getting feedback, what if we did a bit of all of those processes every week? What if we did some of the requirements gathering, some of the designing, some of the building, and some of the testing all at once, every single week? And that way, what you're building is actually constantly getting improved, and you're able to get feedback on it from real users. And what you build at the end of it is something that you've iterated on and gradually improved, and you've ended up, hopefully, with a much better result. I think one thing that Agile's really good at is reacting to change as you go along, rather than trying to build this, perfect roadmap of everything that's going to be delivered week by week, which ends up being a bit of a fiction and more trouble than it's worth. Everyone gets to see progress throughout the development of a product. That's probably the biggest benefit to Agile, is the ability to see the product grow and evolve over time. And that's related to the second big benefit, which is that you also have the ability to change direction. You can, if priorities change, if new things come up that weren't planned for at the beginning of a project, in the old school way of doing things, that would be really painful. If halfway through a 18-month project, new technologies come along, or the priorities of the project change completely, and the thing that you need to build is not what you set out originally to build. And let's not fool ourselves that doesn't happen in the real world all the time. Agile deals with that, and Agile can cope with change in a way that more traditional software development methods probably can't.